Hello and welcome to the People's View. Today we have somebody new. Not really. Somebody we brought out of the closet, though. This is Pete Silva.
Be careful how you say that.
Okay. Pete Silva, who is just elected the chair of the Nashua City Republican Committee. So, Pete, how do you like this new job? You got not even 24 hours yet.
Well, we've been around all the same amount of time with the city committee.
Right.
I can remember when we used to hold the meetings at your condo place.
Mm-hmm.
And, Carl, I went away for a while, and all these cliches of, this next election is the most important one. This is about our children and grandchildren.
Mm-hmm.
I got 3 grandkids now that live 200 yards away from me.
Yeah. And
what they've done to this city, the Dems, it's just, they're almost making it a sanctuary city without actually proclaiming it. And
that's right. Essentially, they gave it the that label.
Yeah.
And they try to use that kind of approach to selling the city.
And yesterday we're going to the meeting.
Yeah.
And Christy's driving me there. It's pouring rain.
Christy is your daughter.
Yeah, Christy is my daughter. And you just see these homeless people just walking in the rain. And, you can tell they're on drugs. And it's just got to get cleaned up.
Yeah.
And that we had, when in the heyday, when we were all involved in it heavily, from like 2010 to 14,
right.
I think I was saying this last night, we would pack the Crowne Plaza, so much so that there'd be people on both sides of the auditorium and in the hallway.
Right.
So I don't even know what that said. It was over 100.
Yeah.
And look at it now. Now it's this last meeting last night was probably the most I've seen this year, because I've been in pretty much every meeting this year since January. And then, of course, it's we have to bring younger people into our organization. And the biggest thing, I think, that where we lack, where the Dems give the devil their due.
Uh-huh.
They're organized and they're very, very up to speed on social media.
Mm-hmm.
And that's, I think, the key that we lack the most, and that's what the young people bring into it. So the little kind of tug of war they had in the beginning before the resignations, that was part of it. And it just,
there was a lot of interest but there was no organization.
No, because they were too busy fighting each other.
Yeah, because everybody's opinion was a fight.
Yeah.
It wasn't a discussion. And that's what people in the audience, I hope you understand, we're looking for people who want to do better, but want to work as a team.
Yeah.
And so please come to our meetings, which are the second Thursday of every month. Okay, we're in the senior center. There's lots of room there. So come in and listen to what we're doing now as we develop our committee.
And my goal is outgrow that room.
Mm-hmm.
That's what I want to do. And I think we can do it rapidly.
Yeah.
The biggest take back from last night, the comments I've been hearing today, is that not just myself, but just the theme of, just unity. And we have such talented people that are in our party, and especially in our committee, that it's a shame to waste it fighting amongst one another. And that's, again, the beauty of the Republican Party and the people, especially in our city, is they're independent. They're open-minded. They're thinkers. The Democrats are like a cult. They just follow lockstep right down and it's great for them to get things done. It's bad for us because their agenda is not ours. I mean, I've said it a million times, and you can't deny it anymore. They're going down a satanic cult following. The things that they're most proud of with these, transgender things and all the things they're doing like that. Nobody really believes a man can have a baby.
Yeah.
I mean, give me a break. They're allowed to get away with it.
Well, I think it was bring back memories, Pete, of 2010, when they had the same approach, but not in as radical line as they are now. And we came back, we were organized, we told the people what we wanted to do and did it. That year, when we went into the state review for the budget and everything, we did a whole bunch of things that made up for the mistakes that the
Oh, it's
Democrats
huge.
did.
We actually, if you think about everything we passed, we had to override a veto. So it wasn't like just passing it. We had to get 2/3 after that. Of course, we had that because we had the supermajority.
Right.
But you're going against a Democratic governor who was as liberal as they come. And I don't know why we can't do that again. And I think it's messaging. And again, the messaging now has to be through social media. So
Right.
I'm going to bring together a few of the different people that were involved. Some are coming back that got angry and left. I had them over my house the other night. I can't even say the things that they know how to do, like the different programs and stuff. And I gave the example last night at the meeting. I mean, when I was at it would have been the last city election, because Christy, my daughter, was running for a school board. And I'm at Ward 8 to get because it's a citywide election, to get the results for Ward 8. And it's like 2 minutes to 8, and one of my neighbors comes in, and he's a Dem. And our Democratic alderman now was there, and he goes, "Oh, you made it." And he said, "Yeah, of course I made it. You guys sent me about 1,000 text messages today, so if I didn't, I was afraid to go home." Now, I'm not saying we need to get that much, but it just shows you we don't do that. We stand, we wave signs, and we knock on every door. And now that's why you also have to get more involved in it with, come up to state-of-the-art stuff, because people don't want you knocking on the doors anymore after COVID. I mean, this was the worst campaign I was ever involved in. It was miserable to me. I dreaded every door I knocked on because you didn't know what was going to happen. And they just didn't want to talk. I've had people answer the door with their freaking mask on. So it's you still got to go out there. You still got to meet people, but we have to expand it.
You think that they'll try to raise that again? I mean, they're trying to. There's some people are doing that elsewhere in the country, where they're raising the amount of problems that the COVID produced.
There's no way in 2024 that there's not going to be another pandemic. They know the game. That's the part. That's the thing I don't know if we can beat until we get some Republicans with cojones in there. This federally right now, you think about it. Look what they're doing to Trump. You can't even make it up. If these roles were reversed, I mean, think about it. So all the stuff that Biden's doing, there's no impeachment. There's no. We'll answer at the polls. Well, you can't answer at the polls. You know what it's like, Carl? If you go back and you think back to 2010, all those things we did, there's really only 3 things we didn't pass. The main one was right to work. That was never going to happen because of all the union people inside the House, Republican and Democrat. So we knew we had an uphill battle on that. And maybe if we had a Republican governor, because I don't even know if we had enough votes, I don't remember, to even pass it without the veto. I don't remember. I don't think we did.
No.
And then the other big one was the Claremont decision. And what I was trying to say to them at the Claremont decision was not many people even know what that means. I'd have a hard time explaining it right now. But if we put a constitutional amendment on the ballot, it's going to get media coverage. So therefore, at least people would start to see it. It wouldn't pass, but now maybe next time it would pass. But we had the libertarians that were in there that just, it wasn't good enough for them. And I warned them, because I was the whip at the time. Oh no, was I the leader? I was the leader, I think, then. But afterwards, they all said to me, "Pete, you know what? You were right." And they apologized. We got along a lot better after that. But you got to know your enemy, and you got to know what you're trying to work at. And the other thing, we couldn't overthrow gay marriage. So that's never going to happen now. That's here. And the gay marriage thing, that's another good example of, I came in 2008 when they passed it, because we're in the minority. And I knew right then, they're not going to stop at gay marriage. Remember they tried to do the bathroom bill then?
Oh, yeah.
And look at them now. Now it's, I didn't even think myself, as cynical as I can be, that they could go this far. That they could actually get up there and actually make it almost mandatory. Like kids in grade schools can see these books, and I mean, they have kids too. I don't understand their mentality. I really don't. I don't get it.
They believe what they say. That's the problem.
They do.
That's what I can't understand why they believe it, but they do, and it's going to be hard to break that.
That's why in this city, don't hold me to these numbers exactly, but it's something like 12,000 something, 12 or 13,000 registered Republicans, something like 15 or 16,000 registered Democrats, and there's like 20 something thousand independents. There's our block.
Right. And that's what we're looking at now.
That's our block. That's what we got to go after.
And we have to get to them. We have to get to them by some common, or you think mail things are going to be now taken?
Well, I think that what we have to do is, the largest committee I'm going to have is going to be communications, because that's going to involve all different parameters of media that we can, use and attack. Yeah. I think the next thing you need to do is we need to have people writing emails, but through a framing committee that can screen them, so we don't get in trouble with radical stuff, and we don't need to do crazy stuff like they do. So, but we need to flood them with that stuff, and if we have enough people focusing in on that, and then the other thing is, we're not going to just like I don't know if this is true, but I understand the Democrats actually, you have to pay to run. It's $500, and then they supply you with all your literature, all your, it was way more than $500, but they want to show you have skin in the game. And I think a mistake we've made here in the past is we just give people in their minimal checks, because we give them to everybody. And a lot of the people, especially when they're new, it's nothing against them, like you and I had to figure it out. We went to training classes and stuff, but we're going to focus in on awards we can win at first, and then we're going to focus in on we're going to give the people, we'll let them obviously be involved in how they design it. We're just not going to give them cash, and we'll organize it that way so we can focus and get, hey, look, we have 0 right now. Let's get 5. Let's just get 5 next time. And then from there, because they're every 2 years, it's not like it's you're going to wait 4 years. Then maybe next time we get 10. And then we get back to, God, when you and I were in 10, it was like, what is it, 23, 24 we had?
We had 22 out of the 28.
Yeah, so I mean, that's incredible. And now we have 0.
But we had we had representatives every ward. Every ward had a representative there.
Because we even had 1 in 4.
Right.
1 rep in Ward 4. We had it, all 3, I think, in 1.
Right.
So that's my vision. That and mostly, I could see it. Just even last night, I'm sure you would agree. You just felt a different air in the room. The people were. We had a unanimous vote. I mean, when's the last time that's happened? I mean,
not even one negative vote.
Not one.
So you've got a lot. We got to go with that, and we got to work. And people, come join us. We like to. It's very interesting to find out how you get regulated, how they wind up taking some of your money, and why it has to be as much as it is. So this is something that I think we're going to look at.
Yeah, and it's city and state, obviously. Yeah. So I mean, obviously, with mayoral contest coming up, I think we have the best shot we've had in a while, because Mike's well connected with the unions, and he's been around different, citywide.
He's done everything.
Yeah, he's done it all, pretty much.
A policeman, he's been a fireman, he's been an advisor, and now he's one of the 3 commissioners in the state, and
he made a comment last night, and he's right. Donchess is a good campaigner.
Oh yeah.
And Mike has energy, so he's not afraid to get out there and work. He's like the ever ready bunny. He's all over the place. So I think we have a good shot with him.
Right.
And people have to see, they have to see all these different, the housing projects that are going up. You have how they're wasting money. You have the school enrollment down, but we're building brand new schools.
Yeah.
You just, eventually the well's going to run dry. And so there's both sides. So the people, like Carl said, I mean, the other thing that it does for you when you get involved with something like this, it gives you a place to vent instead of, remember back in the 70s they had those fake bricks you could throw at the TV because you're so mad at something? It gives you a place to vent.
Yeah.
And probably we learn from you. There's people come in with stuff that, like I said, when I had this meeting on Tuesday night, I mean, I know what social media is. I have a Twitter account. I don't even know how to use it. It's just not my thing.
Yeah.
So why would I try to do it? I'll let people that know how to do it. I'll monitor it. But we just have so much talent in our organization.
I agree.
And we just need to spread it out. And then just have, that's why you'll be getting an email going out. As I said last night, I want to have a bunch of ideas of what people think would help make this happen, because I guarantee you there's things that I didn't think of.
Well, I think one of the things that I've offered is a house party. So a get-together in maybe one ward or one area of town where you have people get together and talk with a couple of the candidates. You get a one-on-one to them, just like they're doing with the presidential candidates now. It's something you have to do to get to some of these people. They have to believe that these people are human and not strange kind of political animals. They're everybody's common way. They just want to live in a comfortable, correct, and safe environment.
Yeah, and I think that's even more important here in New Hampshire because, especially the state party, we don't get paid. I mean, $100 a year. So it's not money, but I think people are so jaded on politicians right now. I mean, I am myself. It's just, I saw it before. When you go down to Washington, either you're independently wealthy and you can't get bought off, or you fall prey. And it's just both sides.
You worry about who's going to support your campaign.
They start out great, well-intended, and then it's just, you see some of the things they'll do here as state reps for power. There's no money involved in it. So to me, you couldn't have a worse mix than to add money to power.
Yeah.
And that's what happens in D.C. I mean, the money they waste, like I said, why isn't Biden being impeached? It's not going to pass because it won't pass the Senate. But again, the media will be forced to cover it. They won't have a choice. They've hid every other thing they could possibly hide. They cannot hide an impeachment procedure. They can't do it. At least I don't think they can. At this point, I don't even know.
Yeah.
They could have the friggin' aliens land like they talk about.
Well, we're looking for new ideas too. We'd like to have new people who maybe haven't gotten involved that have ideas that might work.
That's my point. Exactly. Yeah. Exactly. And again, as we bring in new people, they know people.
Right.
And I'm not even sure. I think a lot of it had to do with our success in that time frame. Was the Tea Party started it?
Yes.
But this is worse than the Tea Party right now. We're in a time that's worse than the Tea Party. So I don't understand why people would want to give up at this point, because it truly is. The cliche is no longer cliche. It's here.
And I think it's a little bit more opportunity right now, because I don't think some of the people that have run and may not even run again are vulnerable. That means a lot of openings, and people ought to come down, go to the NashuaGOP.org website and find out what it means to run for an office, whether it's alderman, the education group, or even people who are running the election itself. They do have a person that has a group of people that run the election, and they're something that you run for, and they're open for that.
Yeah, and if the other thing too is you would meet people that are involved in the committee. Carl and myself, there's a lot of ex-state reps. There's no current ones, but there's a lot, and there's aldermanic people. We don't have a mayor there, but school board members.
Right.
And you know, I made that mistake early on in politics, as it wasn't glamorous to me. But it really starts at the school board.
Mm-hmm.
That's the most important one of all, because what they're doing to the kids right now. And we right now, I think we have, I don't even know how many candidates we have for school board right now. Not a lot. Well, there's no limit anyway.
Yeah.
But let's say we don't have like the 9 that you would need. I think the board's made up of 9 members.
Yeah, it's only some of them run this time.
Yeah, I know, but I'm just saying to take over. So the only one I know of right now is Paula, who's been there before, and she would have the best chance, I think, of getting back in there.
Right.
But you got to start somewhere, and what the Dems don't do is they don't stay home. They get involved for all the wrong reasons, but they do, and so our choices are simple: either just let them continue to take over, or we got to fight back.
People out there, you have to realize that the only way you're going to get change is get involved and do things. Even if you don't run for office, there are a lot of things you can do to highlight your ideas, your questions, your problems, and we'll talk to it on this show and other shows. You'll be hearing more and more people who want change come in and present their arguments. And so please give us a call if you want. You can call my number, 400-1430, and let me know if you want to get on this show. But we do need people who want to be active somewhere in this opportunity that is meaningful to not only the people now, but our children that'll be coming through the people here who are running the area.
And also, if you get what I'm about to do with this committee, if you get involved with it, I'm gonna have a committee that's gonna also do research on the bills so we can bring them out. So there's so many bills at the State House, it's hard to keep track of it. You rarely hit, unless it's really, really something that's, like an abortion bill or something like that. You don't hear about it on TV. So I'm gonna have a team of people to vet those out, and so we can put those out on our social media that they'll start to see. But you'd have to be a member, or you'd have to be paying attention to the website.
Well, would that go also to city?
Absolutely.
Okay.
City and state.
Because they're not getting very many people at some of these hearings. One reason, I think, is because they don't allow you to talk very much. You get only 1 or 2 minutes to make a comment at the end or beginning of the session.
Yeah, and I understand too. Especially in the winter, you get home.
Yeah.
You get home at 5 o'clock, and you got to go to the thing at 7 o'clock. It's 10 degrees out, so it's not. I mean, you could watch it on TV, but even that. So now, if you can just look at an email, or go on a website and see the different things. And that's what we're going to do with this framing committee, where they'll wash all the stuff through so we can see what's good and what's not.
Right. So we'll see. And if you have any ideas, we like to listen to them. And we don't know everything. We need to have a mixture of people coming back to, given the perspectives. We
know enough to know that we got problems if we don't get more active in it.
Well, you're talking about all these apartments that have gone up. Is there? I see them being up for a while, but I don't see any activity in them. How long?
Well, think of some of the things that these great, brilliant ideas they've had so far. There's one that was across the street from Shaw's. It was going to be luxury apartments. This is going back probably 15 years ago. Busted. Look at the one they're building now that's behind Ace Hardware.
Yeah.
In that where the courthouse kind of used to be. Do you really think that people are going to want to live there? Would you want to live there with all the homeless people running around? So they're going to sell these like really expensive apartments. I don't think it's going to work.
Yeah.
And then on the other side for the affordable housing, look at the one right near there that they used to look like barracks,
Yeah.
you know, one floor things. They're building these monstrosities to house a lot of people. And that's the thing. You can't keep making a welfare state. It just doesn't make any sense. Eventually it's going to implode. And that's what's going to happen right now. I think they're talking about also turning the Elm Street school, when they open up the new one, that's going to be a homeless shelter.
Yeah.
I don't know if that's true. That's what I heard.
Oh,
So,
they're going to
I mean,
have
how
a lot
many
of
more can you
buildings
have?
now. You're going to close a school too, eventually. And they only postponed it for 2 years.
Yeah.
And there's other things too. The building where the leather company was, leather.
Yeah.
Anyway, they have to cover up some of that stuff that they left there. And you can't cover that stuff. Absolutely. You'll get
What, like
leakage.
asbestos?
I don't what they're supposed to put some kind of container around it. But it's right near the river. If you ever get a flood, you'll probably wash the top off the thing. And that is one terrible mess, because one of their thoughts are making a mini San Antonio out of our river, where you'd have operations on the river and entertainment and all along the area that goes through the city. I don't know how they're going to do that.
Well, you got a brand new playhouse and you got new tires you need every time you drive down the road from busting in potholes. So at least you get a playhouse, though.
Yeah, I think so. But please make your information that you want to get in noted by the Republican Club. Thank you for listening.